Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, welcome back to the Fresh Pot podcast. It's the digital and video first podcast brought to you by Tim.
Glad to be here.
And Brandon.
Hey.
And yours truly, Norm from Cup of Code.
We are Samless, though, because Sam is dealing with the 3-hour delay at school.
The 3-hour delay. What gets done in a 3-hour delay?
3-hour delay.
Here we are in icy cold Pennsylvania. Sidewalks and driveways and roads were had a thin sheet of ice on it this morning. So, Sam, you're being thought of.
And made fun of a little bit.
A little bit.
Today we got, I think, some good conversation coming along. If you're at home, you're watching this or listening, we want to talk about online sales and what gets you to make a decision about buying something either in an impulse, planning for later, as a long-term potential purchase, and what is it that gets you to that point? What's attractive about that sale? What's the urgency behind it? The call to action. So, a lot of conversation at the Cup of Code office over the past couple of weeks about online sales, whether it's on the social media side of things, on Google websites. So we're ready to dive in. And I know, Nick, you've got some questions prepared to prompt us to walk us through the conversation. So take it away, buddy.
So we're going to start out with regular conversational questions, and then we're going to move to like hot takes and really quick questions and answers. Ooh. And then we're going to go over what's coming up in Cup of Code. That's kind of the itinerary today.
Love it.
So let's start with some group questions.
Heck yeah. Banana bread.
Thank you. Have any of you personally bought something recently from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or an online ad? I can tell you I have not.
I have not. I also don't browse social media for the purpose of entertainment.
So then it's going to be you two over here.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So let's start with what you bought and why. What got you to buy it?
I think it was November, mid-November. It was right before Thanksgiving, and I was trying to think of unique things to give Megan because we're at that point in our marriage where we don't just buy things to give them things. She's not materialistic in that she wants things. And I wanted to, as parents with 3 kids, we often say, Christmas is for the kids. We don't need gifts. But I wanted to give her something to show her how much I appreciated about her. And I was thumbing through Facebook, and I saw a custom puzzle. And it was one where you could take an image, and then they would make a 500, 700, or 1,000-piece puzzle. And I thought, for the amount of money that I would spend on a gift for my wife, which I'll be embarrassed to say would be, $100 or $200 for Christmas, I guess depending on the gift, I could buy 6 or 7 of these puzzles. I did it.
I don't know if that's cool anymore.
I'm the only one keeping it alive. And so I went through different stages of the kids' ages and national parks trips and things like that. And I ordered her 6 puzzles with photography on it, custom images of the family. And that was a Facebook purchase. And then you would, retargeting. After I went through that purchase cycle, I then got retargeted by a bunch of other similar puzzle manufacturers that were bombarding my Instagram feed and my Facebook feed.
Imagine a movie where somebody poisons you and they give you 6 puzzles that lead you to the antidote.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brandon, what did you buy?
About car detailing stuff, because I was talking at home about needing to clean my car, and Facebook thought I needed to see ads, and it looked good, so I bought it.
Great detail.
Yeah.
You are the reason
Did you
we
want
have a
more?
business.
Because
So let me
it's
ask.
good stuff.
Can I
It's
ask you
stuff
about
I
that
already
buying
use, but-
process?
So I was going to ask a follow-up question about that as well.
Oh, please.
To both of you.
Yeah, sure.
Like, what
Sure.
makes you actually trust that purchase?
it's stuff I used in the past. I like the product. It just came across, and it's like I have this app. It's called Shop that makes it basically. It's like 2 clicks, and I've ordered stuff. It's on the way. It's already products I use anyway. It's just I was like, I guess I could use more of it, and quick purchase. But I almost buy a lot of stuff. It's very rare that I pull that trigger, but something I needed to buy anyway and saved me a trip to the store.
So it's a convenience thing.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked to hear this. but I will then go and check out their reviews. And some of these big, digital only companies, they don't have a brick and mortar. They're just a digital only sales force. And it's really hard to get a review for them because they've got a website that only cherry picks a couple. And, because we're in the industry, we know what a website is that's got a direct pull from like Google. And so we can say, oh, that's legitimate. Or we can look at it and say, oh, they just picked a couple of their best reviews. So I went and did a little bit of recon and found out that they have pretty decent reviews, that only a couple, they were transparent in their review process on their website where they said, hey, the puzzle pieces are a little flimsy on the edges. So, if you buy the 500 piece puzzle, you're going to get a better quality puzzle piece than the smaller, 1,000 piece puzzle pieces. And so just be careful. And then I kind of look and see, I only saw 5 or 6 of those out of 1,000 reviews. And yeah, so I did the review process and then I went back into the website again and then ordered and completed that process.
So when you land on a website for the first time, what's the first thing that tells you you can trust the business or you leave it immediately? This is for all three of you. So I'm sure you have an answer for this.
My answer is not going to necessarily be like, I think, the common answer, but I do have something very specific that I look for. It's just my own personal preference.
What is it?
I look for it to be built in a very intuitive way to be a funnel from coming off of something like social media, since the amount of social media usage from people on a day is just like insane. I like when people build websites that mimic the flow, the one thumb action of navigating everything you need to navigate, including menus and everything else. So I really appreciate when I land on a website that feels like a scrolling social platform.
Yeah, and that goes along with, 75 to 85% of all websites are viewed in a mobile environment. So
Yeah, to me, it kind of lets me know that they put a little effort into the user experience versus just slapping pictures and text onto something. Like they put some thought into it.
So you are then could be considered by many, at least by the industry standards, to be the ideal online shopper or the ideal website user because you prefer a mobile first environment.
I also have zero patience. So if that website environment is like, if I can't find what I'm looking for in like 2 seconds, I'm literally the reason why there's a bounce rate.
So to that point, walk me through what does that look like when you land on a website that is not optimized for mobile, but you have to be there because it has something that you need, that you require, that you can't get from somewhere else. What's that feeling like?
Oh, there's so much rage. So much rage. But if it's something that I have to be on, I'm trying to think of an example, but I don't want to mention any names. Like I'm not going to say out loud the Pennsylvania Turnpike app. But if I was going to use an example, I would say that it is frustrating to go through things that have on-styled input sections because you have to like move side to side if you put a long input in, or you have to do different actions that aren't native to your usage. Everything can have a little bit of styling to make it user friendly. You don't have to just have everything look like a spreadsheet.
So do you think that this is a little bit away from the topic, but do you think that because you have now had a very negative experience on that website, because, if 80% of the websites that people are on and enjoy being on are in a vertical mobile environment where it's optimized for mobile usage, smaller screen, vertical screen, do you think that someone who refuses to update their website in today's required environment, do you think that they are hurting their image and their branding and their PR?
I think they can be, but I don't think that's a blanket statement because there's websites that are purely function. They don't have to be pretty. They don't have to work well, but you don't have a choice but to use them. Like if you're going on to shop for healthcare, like health insurance, like it's not going to be pretty, but you don't have a choice.
DMV.
The DMV, like anything that's a website that is purely meant for function. But if you're a business that sells a service that a customer is going to shop around for the best price, the best look,
Yes.
like for example, if you're a landscaper and you have a bad looking website, subliminally that might reflect that you might not have an eye for detail that's going to impact the way that your project looks outside of your house. So I think it's very industry specific whether or not a website design or user experience is going to negatively impact the business.
I look at it I'm looking a little bit broader of a feel from like a PR perspective. You mentioned two things that are very, can be volatile topics, like the Turnpike, and the Turnpike Commission, and like healthcare, right? Those are two places where there can be a love and a hate relationship there. And so sometimes wouldn't you want that, if you're the Turnpike Commission and that's a love-hate relationship, wouldn't you want to do everything you could to improve the quality of your brand and the perception of your business by catering to the place where most people are going to use your product, and that's in a vertical and a mobile friendly environment. It's almost, I think what I'm thinking about and trying to get across is that it's the way that your mobile experience is honestly an investment in the brand and in
It definitely is.
how people view your business.
It definitely is to a capacity. But then you also have those businesses where you're not going to go under because people have to use your platform. It's really more of an internal tool that connects to the world than, a website at that point.
Nice.
Agreed.
Thanks for letting me go down that rabbit hole.
Well, I'm going to let you guys keep going, because what separates a website that sells from a website that just exists?
Ooh, a funnel. You have to have a path. Customers have to know that they're being sent down a road to understand a product, make sure it's the right product that they want, and to find out that it's something that they want to actually invest some money in. So a path and a message.
Does that path start on the website?
May or may not.
I think the path can start on the website, but I think that most of the time the website's going to be almost like the door that you choose to really start the adventure.
Ooh, yeah. Similar to the brew path, right? We look at the brew path and something that Cup of Code rolled out in the last couple of weeks. And it is, from what we've seen, largely generated. The path starts in a social media environment. Someone sees a message, which then leads them to a picking of their own path. What type of adventure do you want to go on? Do you want to get right to the point? Do you want a little bit more information, or are you ready to buy right now? And then they choose their path. They bounce from social and then are funneled directly to a place on a website that then allows them to get directly to us and submit a detailed request. So that path starts in social, but I think the pathway can start in many places, right?
So like our brew path doesn't start on our website. Like you don't usually get there unless you're clicking from an ad.
Yeah, you find out the adventure exists on a social media post, and then you start your adventure once you navigate your way to the entry point.
So if somebody was to go to our website, do we have a direct path?
We do. And we accounted for that because the way that the brew path works is through the UTM URL queries. So we have a feature built into it where if you don't come from another funnel source, then it constructs the URL in a way where you don't have any of that pre-existing information and you can start the path from scratch if you just happen to stumble across it. So we accounted for that too.
I think that's something that, everyone, the people that we're talking to, if we break them apart into these worlds of, percentages of their knowledge of the topic at hand, 10% of them are already at the same place we are or ahead of us. 10% of them have no idea what in the world we're discussing right now. And you say UTM and GTM, and they're like, what is that? And then there's those 80% of people in the middle that can be walked through this process, that need to know that a pathway to a website is largely not just going to be the website itself, that there needs to be a referral base to get to the funnel, right? To get into that funnel, you have to come from somewhere. And we hear this a lot, like, oh, great, I'm going to invest maybe a couple $1,000, get a website ready, and then all the leads are just going to turn on and they're going to come right in. And that is not the way that it works. You build your storefront, your brick and mortar, to be pleasant and have strong call to action and warm feelings in a receptive environment. But that doesn't mean that people are just going to show up.
Yeah, you have to tell them that you're there.
Yeah. And so that I like that social has become one of those places because I was not in the mindset to buy a puzzle at that time. I was just shopping through. I buy fishing supplies this way too, where I'm relaxing and I'm in a place of just, that doom scrolling where I'm looking for something interesting to catch my eye. And then there are, based on a price point, impulsive moments where we can say, oh, that's less than $30, $20. I'll buy that.
So in that process, how important are reviews, photos, and proof when somebody's deciding to buy online?
For me, it's very important. I can't remember that I ever, well, I'm sure I may have, but I don't remember a purchase that I've made online with a company that I was not familiar with before that ad that I just blindly went through and purchased. I've either had a referral or I take the time to go look at reviews. If the product imagery is poor, like I know from Amazon, when I'm shopping something and I see poor product imagery, I won't buy it. It almost tells me like, hey, we weren't good enough to be able to put up some good images here. So that tells me that you haven't done enough work to verify, the value of your product. So I'll walk away from it.
It definitely makes a difference, and it makes more and more of a difference as that information becomes easier to pull into your platforms. Because I know, like 10 years ago, finding a review was like a novelty. Like it's like, hey, this is pretty special. This place has something different. But now it's kind of flipped, and it's almost like if you don't have reviews, what's going on?
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
So you mentioned price before that. So which one's more important, reviews or price?
Oof. I don't have a straight answer on what is more important, review or price. I think it depends on the price of the, it's this sliding scale.
Let's just say that the price is like standard. Like you're looking at fishing stuff that's $20, but it's $20 across the board. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's 30 somewhere or 10 somewhere. But let's just say that 10 has worse reviews. Are you then going to buy the $20 one?
Yes.
Because that makes reviews more important then.
Reviews are more important.
But what if the reviews on the $30 one are a little bit better than the $20 one? Like that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so I will spend more money on even if it is an apple to apple, based on the digital sales, because there is, it's not just the quality of the item, but it's the fulfillment of the order. It's the communication and responsiveness of the seller. It's the ability for that thing to show up at my house in the shape that I purchased it in, that it was intended to be purchased. So, have you guys ever purchased something where the review said, I love the price point of this thing, but it showed up damaged and it looked like it was packed in there without any, protective layering, or it was just thrown in there and it was damaged when it got here? Have you ever seen a review like that?
Mm-hmm. I've seen those, and depending on the platform, I kind of take those with a grain of salt because I never know if it's just a lack of effort on the company packaging or if it's just the post office chucking that thing around Ace Ventura style.
I go on reviews. Because if you're shopping on Amazon, like I bought recently a little wireless thing for my CarPlay, and you can find 10 of them that are pretty much identical, but they could be vary $5 to $10 in price, but it's almost the exact same thing. So I go through reviews and I look at, people had issues, are they all good reviews? And then even if it's a little more, I'll pay the little extra in price for it.
All right. Last question before we go into hot takes. Is a bad website worse than having no website?
Wow.
It depends on what you mean by bad.
Oh,
It does mean what you. It depends what you mean by bad, and also depends on your industry.
So-
because, like, for example, if you are an attorney in a small town and you don't have a website, you're like that small town solution for a niche person who can find you in other sources, like, everywhere from traditional marketing to word of mouth. But if you have an expanded service area and you have more competition, your website's kind of your digital salesperson that's never going to sleep and just be there whenever somebody's looking for information.
Yeah.
so we are a couple of dudes in a similar age range.
Yeah. You can use that phrase loosely.
Some are older.
Some are worse for the wear, right? I would say that answer will vary drastically based on the age of the person you're asking it to.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If you say to Mom and Pop Jones out at the Jones farm, does the website matter to you and what it looks like? they will, I could tell you right now, will not care, because they will on their phones squeeze and look, or they're looking at it on a big screen on a laptop, actually on a Dell that's on a desk. And they'll go through and they'll hunt and peck and try to find what it is, and they don't care what it looks like. They have no care in the world about user experience, and they're in their late 70s. If you were asking my 30-year-old sister how she feels about it, she would give no time to a bad website and would find another way to, get that information.
And being your sister, she knows a thing or two about bad websites.
Yes.
So
What?
I think it would depend, because if I'm searching for a business and there's no website, like I'm going to try to find one with a website. But if I go to your website and it's like a broken Adobe Flash section and like 20-year-old pictures, I'm not sure if you're even in business. So like I'm just going to bounce and go. But I might go back to that one that didn't have a website, because they have a Google business with reviews. So maybe they're doing all right.
I think we also have to determine what makes a website good or bad, because it's not necessarily that it's not a pretty looking website, because that's up to the expectation and the preference of the viewer. But some things to look for is contact forms that fail, navigation menus on mobile that don't open up like they should, links that go to broken pages. Those are the things, in my opinion, that make a bad website. The looks and the bells and whistles are kind of just like your brand versus the functionality of what your website's supposed to do. So I think a bad website, in terms of a bad user experience on the website, definitely has a negative impact on shoppers.
I think I want to clarify something about what I said, in that I think there is a website that can be built for all ages. And you know how we talk about social media as being for different, demographic groups and different age ranges? My parents are not on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok.
My kids are on TikTok. However, I think there's a way that you can build a clean user experience, whether it's a mobile or a desktop version on a website, that can be pleasing to all age groups, and having, all of the things that are required, strong call to action, a clean user experience. So, yeah, that's a good question.
Also remember, though, that a good website isn't just making sure that it's available to be used by an age group, but also it has the available tools built in for keyboard navigation if you have dexterity issues and can't use a mouse, or if you have some kind of coloring issues where like you don't see certain colors, or you have impairments, you can adjust the contrast, you can click it to grayscale. So it's a lot more about functionality than how pretty it is when it comes to a bad website.
And the under the hood components, I hear, someone will say, I'd like to show up at the top of search. We have an electrician in New Jersey that reached out and said, hey, I've been here for 45 years and I'm not showing up at the top of search. What's going on? And here's my website. Take a look at it. And, I can't just look at your website from the front end. And now if there are glaring things missing, I can say, yeah, you're missing a couple of key opportunities here. But unless you get under the hood of that website, we don't know how it was built. How was it structured?
There's some
signaling to Google all the things that you need to.
There's some stuff that is looked at like a human, but then there's a lot of things that are machine-based that the user will never see. That's going to determine how you rank. Not even how you rank, but it's going to determine how likely Google is to acknowledge you as a reference.
Correct. Yeah.
Because Google doesn't actually rank you. They pair you based on your performance.
It's the likeliness that Google will have confidence in your digital footprint and say, hey, I think this is a good place for you to go and serve you in search. So,
which is a great topic of conversation, because we just had a whole presentation about that, which we'll get into later. But SEO, AEO, and GEO are the three acronyms that you really want to look into when you're trying to learn and deep dive into your own website to see how you can improve everything from finding yourself in search to voice.
Bingo.
So, and a lot of that stuff is all under the hood.
All right. You guys ready?
Ooh.
If you're going to talk about a subject, you have about 10 to 30 seconds to talk about it if you want to debate it. If not, we will move on to the next question.
Easy peasy. That's my kind of
These
conversation.
are agree and disagree mostly.
Okay.
A slow website instantly kills sales.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. A business cares more about their logo than the customer does.
Boy, I think that's industry specific because I think there's a level of brand loyalty that revolves around your logo.
Logo is super important. It's going to tell your story without saying anything.
Oh boy, I'm on the fence.
Okay. A bad mobile experience is worse than a bad desktop site.
Correct.
Yes.
100%.
By percentage, it is.
80%.
No. Most people are on your mobile. If
Yeah,
your mobile's
80% of the
bad.
time, it's bad every time.
Yeah.
Pop-ups help sales or annoy customers.
Depends on how you use them. If you throttle them so that customers can, 1, check out of them, 2, opt out of them, and 3, it's not every single time, I think they're okay.
Love the pop-up.
Of course you do.
Depends on what they're offering.
Too much website information actually hurts conversions.
It can hurt conversions because of user interaction, but it can help getting those conversions seen through search because you're packing those keywords and phrases. So I think you have to do it tastefully in a way that humans can read it, but machines can understand it.
Boy, save some answers for the rest of us.
I say
Answer faster.
Like
you can paralyze someone by the analysis, paralysis by analysis. You give them too much information and people get lost and they forget why they were even there.
Stock photos versus real photos. Does it matter? And you can be industry specific.
Based on the industry, it absolutely matters.
yeah, construction.
Construction, you can use stock footage.
You can.
Oh, I
but
get
If you're using
well,
construction,
I want to see your work.
construction in the terms of if you're paving a road, but if you're doing like a home deck, I want to see that home deck. If you're a restaurant, I want to see the actual food you make. If you are,
Like, so not stock photos of like wings or anything. Like you want to see.
I'd like to see the food.
Okay.
You always want to present it digitally what somebody's going to sit down at that table and see in person because you're setting the expectation. Same with like car dealerships.
I think you can use stock photography of like wings, like you said. You
Yeah.
know, if you're selling, you're a bar and you want to sell wings in a beer special. Wings are wings.
Wings are
Unless you're going to do the breaded versus the fried, the baked.
I think it depends on the message too, because something as generic as Wing Nights Thursday, 50 cents per wing, is different than showing somebody like, hey, tonight here is a special wing flavor. Like if I think it depends on the call to action too.
Yeah, true.
maybe it might.
Breaded wings, no, thank you.
Time's up. All right. Contact form versus direct phone number. Which converts better?
Age group. It depends on the age
Age
group.
group and industry, if I have a leak and I need to get a hold of a plumber, I don't want to fill out a form. I want to make a phone call. If I see something that I have a question about, I don't want to talk on the phone. The mouth is an outdated orifice, and in 2026, it needs to be phased out. So I'm going to fill out a contact form.
With that being said, should service businesses provide their pricing online? Yes or no?
If not actual prices, I'm going to say a price range.
Ballpark it.
I think that a clear price guide on hourly rate on service industry work, we can put ours out there at $85 an hour and let everybody know this is what we work at. When you're a plumber, you can let them know that you work at whatever that range is, and then say, but if you're calling me right now, there's an expedite or an emergency fee that's associated with it. Because if, to your example, you've got water all over your basement or water all over your kitchen floor, you're not worrying so much about the dollar amount. You're worrying about the water that's flooding your home and you want to get it taken care of.
Free shipping makes people buy things they don't need.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, especially if there's like
if
that.
you got a bundle, if you got to
Amazon
get to
Prime?
$50, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw in anything to get there. Even if it's a $5 shirt, I'm getting the 50 for that free
100%.
shipping.
Free shipping is the only reason I have Amazon Prime.
Convenience beats loyalty today.
Absolutely.
For a lot of things, not for everything.
Yeah.
Not for everything, because sometimes MacBooks are the bane of my existence, but I'm loyal to the usage and flow.
I'd be a giant hypocrite if I said yes. I am a big loyalty guy. I talked about cheating on my dentist last week.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You might want to go into some. You might want to clarify that a little bit.
So,
You
Megan,
have 10 seconds.
Megan, I am not cheating on my dentist.
In a boo-boo mouth.
Cheating on you with my dentist. I am thinking about cheating on my dentist because I'm in a massive amount of tooth pain every single day. And apparently it's hard to get a tooth pulled here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. So
We all offered to knock it
Yeah,
out.
we
for you.
all.
I
did.
know. And in about 72 hours, there's going to be a new Waking Up with Brandon where you are all hitting me with a sledgehammer in the face to get this thing out of my mouth.
Let's do it.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Discounts train customers to wait instead of buy.
If you set scheduling, like if you
Wow.
If
High
you-
five, dude.
if you know 2 or 3 times a year
you're getting.
this business offers a perk, then I'm totally one that'll wait for that perk to hit, and then I'll do what I need to do at that time period. But if you're a random, here's a special, like Harbor Freight, you never know when you're going to get a free flashlight coupon, and you got to buy something to get a free flashlight. But if you only get like a set of screwdrivers or like one of those garage towels, I'm not going to buy anything.
But if you get a free battery, you will.
Ooh, they do have, you can buy big battery packs.
you
for
look
You
at
cheap.
got him
like-
there. You got him there quick.
Around Black Friday time, everybody's holding off for those specials, which I don't even think are deals half the time anymore. But they're waiting because they're trained to know that price may be reduced, so they hold off.
Well, this is super timely. And to both of the points that you're making, those are places that offer promos all the time. Remember when we first ran when we were upstairs and ran our first promo?
Push, pull, or drag it in sale?
Yeah, right. No one expected that because they were like, "Oh, we've never seen a promo from Cup of Code before."
We even had a commercial.
yeah,
We even had a TV commercial. So we ran that and we saw results from that. We saw people coming in and saying, yes, let's go. And we got away from that because we want to be the charlatan, the hustler of, kind of, hey, just wait for next month to see what we have. And then we, after maybe 3 to 6 months of having promos around, then had current customers or friends of current customers saying things like, well, what are you coming out with next? What's going to be the next promo? And we trained our people to say, don't worry about it. We ran quarterly promos. Let's wait until the next quarter and see what Cup of Code comes out with. So I think that,
This is a long 10 seconds.
I think discounts train people to wait and it extends the buying process. And that there's always going to be value in what you do for the wage that you're asking for.
Okay, last quick question. People trust strangers' reviews more than they do businesses.
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
yeah.
That's reality.
And now I'm going to do a question that we will ask every single podcast.
Ooh.
What's one thing businesses should start doing this month?
Oh, I like that.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what I suggested in the Business Bites and Brews, and that is a simple thing you can do with your own website, and that is to, first of all, if you go to cupofcode.com/triple-brew, you'll see the entire presentation, and one of the things in there is talking about the importance of your heading tags, treating them like a book. Your H1 is your book title, your H2 is your chapter, your H3 is your subject information. If you go on your 3 main pages and you make sure that you have one H1 and your H2s are set and your H3s, that's going to really help Google understand what your website's about, and it's going to help you in the long run. So I think that making sure that you verify your heading structure of your own website, which you can totally do yourself, is something that you can do today.
Mine is going to be ensuring that you are doing everything you can to post on your social medias daily. We encourage this with every single customer we have, even the ones where we're doing maybe the majority or a portion of the posting. So getting something to stay top of mind, and social media is a great way to do that. So posting every single day.
Boy, I'd say do a spring cleaning on your website. Go do a review. If you have some outdated stuff that maybe needs to come down, now's the time to review your info and do a little bit of a spring cleanup.
Mine is take the time this month to study your customers, how they buy, what they buy,
Okay.
and then you'll get the other one next month.
Oh,
The other part of that.
It's a two-parter.
Ooh, a twofer.
To be continued. Shows
Wow.
up right here.
All right, Timmy,
What's up?
take it away. You do all the upcoming stuff that we have, and then Norm, take us home.
Just to touch base on the Business Birds and Bites last month, it was SEO, AEO, and GEO, and you can find the presentation, follow along for your own information. And we are awaiting confirmation on the March speaker, and as soon as we have that up and running, you'll see that on businessbitesandbrews.com. I don't think we acknowledged the fact that Dave Tamkus is now a sponsor.
Oh.
So he joined the sponsor roster, and he's also the one that created our new Business Bites and Brews logo. And I think the biggest thing coming up is our March Madness Coffee Jam.
We have 64 teams.
We do, and we built an entire online bracket system now that we can manage everything on the back end and show an actual bracket to put the people head to head.
Yeah. Place your bets
So
on
exciting.
FanDuel.
Battle of the Beans. It's not Battle of the Beans. But anyway, Do you want to
That's
talk
something different that we have coming up in this summer. Stay tuned for that one because it's going to be a real
your caffeination destination for Battle of the Beans?
rock'em sock'em great time.
You're doing so good.
Yeah, we really are. We were on track. Anyway, do you want to talk a little bit about briefly the number of competitors that we have and the outline of this?
There's 64 teams, just like in March Madness.
Oh heck yeah!
So you will see them going against each other, and it works the same way as March Madness. The first week we do 32 matchups, and you'll get to vote on our Facebook page. Yeah.
That's gonna be big this
Healthy
year.
competition.
And then each round you'll get to vote, and then the champion gets a trophy.
Yep, and it's going to be all shown on samscoffeejam.com, and there's a live news ticker and everything, so you can see real-time updates daily of who beats who.
I'm
It
excited. I'm
starts-
excited for this year.
March 9th.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Very exciting. I when we were talking about building out some specific promotional opportunities for local businesses based around the March Madness, I realized that this is something that we give back to the community, and we've been really in a mindset of trying to give back and invest and reinvest into the community. And Nick and I discovered that there are going to be north of 500,000 people that are going to see something that has to do with the Coffee Jam, with March Madness. And when I think about that, of all the small coffee bistros, the little coffee joints out there, the donut shops that'll be featured. This is a real opportunity for everyone in the listening and the viewing audience to say, let's get involved in this, because we are not, making a nickel out of that like and that comment and that share. There's no monetization on our end for you at home and the listening audience to interact with that. What you are benefiting are all those 64 local businesses. So this is a direct infusion of top of mind awareness, of a digital impression that's being delivered when you get involved in that. And yeah, we would love to see millions of people have some sort of interaction with this, because it truly does lift all of these coffee shops. And when we, the rising tide lifting all of the ships, this is that type of scenario. So I don't say that to shine a spotlight on what it is that we're doing. Take that opportunity to get involved and shine the spotlight on those small businesses, the IV Coffees and the Wagging Tails and the Shines.
And it's not just local to this area. It's all over the places that we've gone. It's all the coffee jams that we've done this year, right?
It's all the coffee jams we've done ever.
So we're going to have, what I like about it is you're not going to see a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks on it. It's going to be local owned coffee shops, and you're going to see coffee shops all over the coast. You're going to see them from literally Salem and Cape Cod down through Wilmington, North Carolina. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, very exciting. Nice.
Another thing that we were working on that is going to be hitting the audiences soon is we've increased our website to show the page for our billboard locations with an interactive map to show you where our billboards are available to buy, and also you can see street views of them so you can see what the traffic patterns are like. And coming soon is a token-based billboard design platform that we're building. So customers can get a series of tokens for designing and redesigning to use our proprietary build tool. And then if they want to keep redesigning, they can buy tokens and do more and more designs. And that alleviates the need for graphic design if they can kind of piece it together themselves. But it's going to give them a template that we know will definitely look the best on our billboard placements. So that's kind of fun.
Good job on that.
And we're also working on a marketing CRM for customers that want to have an easy way to pass off assets and promotion ideas and to do tasks with us. So we're working on that as well.
Tim's been busy.
I've been busy.
Somebody's been a busy boy. Yeah, and it's working out really well. It's going to increase not only efficiency, but get people closer to that buying opportunity. So good job.
Someone taking us home?
Take us home,
Take us
Norm.
home.
I wasn't sure if we had anything else to talk about.
We're all in the car. You go ahead and drive us there.
Do you have anything else?
No, it's an exciting month. So thanks for listening today. We appreciate the opportunity. And share. There are a lot of fun tips in here. We ask these questions because we want you to learn, but we also want you to, if you're a listener, get back in touch with us. If there's a topic that you have that you specifically would like to hear answered, reach out to Cup of Code by heading to our website and filling out a form. Let us know about that. The one thing that I learned today was that reviews matter. And pictures matter. So if you're selling something online, take the time to take a good picture and post it, but also be mindful of your reviews and be mindful of responding to your reviews so that you show that you're an active and engaged business owner. And yeah, if you heard something today that you think can help somebody else, share it with them. Make sure that they know, because that's the gift that just keeps on giving. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition of The Fresh Pot. We will see you next month.